Hey friends, welcome back. As you know, my name is Scott Heaton. I'm your host, and today we have Mei Huang with us with Vibrant Life Therapy. I'm super excited to have her in because just the whole topic of therapy and everything that involves therapy, I think, is not talked about enough, and I think it's underutilized. So once we get into it, you'll understand what I mean. But I'm super excited to have her. But before we do that, Mei, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who you are, where you
Yeah,
came from, where you went to school, all that kind of stuff.
thank you for having me. I'm not used to not looking at people in their eyes, but I'll try to get used to it. Yeah. So I'm originally from Taiwan, so like English is my second language. The accent probably gives it away. I was born and raised there all the way till I was 18, and I came to the States for college. Yeah, and I recently completed my master's degree in social work from BYU. So I'm practicing as a therapist now. I specialize in working with people who has anxiety, depression, and also who's been through trauma. And like it's trauma work is one of my greatest passion. And I also do sex specific work, so working through like sex addiction or um, I guess problem sexual behaviors, things like that. And I work with teenagers and adults.
No kids.
Not right now, but I'm
Okay.
open to it.
Okay.
I'm not like special. Usually, it's like play therapy, but I'm not specialized in that.
Right on. Okay. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. You've lived in Taiwan. Do you travel much?
Yeah, yeah. I definitely enjoy traveling, and I've been to some of the Asian countries like Thailand and Korea, and and recently this year we just been to. I took my family. It's their first time to go to Europe, so we went to
Love Europe.
Paris. Yeah, right before the Olympics, so
Okay.
like right before the chaos. Yeah, but it was really nice.
Of all the places you've been, what is your favorite?
It's really hard to say. I may not have been to my favorite place yet, but so far, I actually what came to my mind is like Hawaii. Yeah,
Okay.
and my husband and I actually went to school there, so I actually lived there for 5 years.
Oh,
But it's so different to go back as a
tourist.
tourist. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
On your bucket list, what is maybe one of the top places you want to visit that you haven't visited yet?
Right. Yeah. I really want to see the Northern Lights. So probably
Oh,
like one of the Scandinavian countries or Iceland. Yeah. I don't have like a specific one, but that's definitely something I'd like to do.
that would be cool. Yeah. We'd like to travel too, but there's like we were talking earlier, there's never enough time or money to
Yeah.
get all the travel in.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I guess that's why we work hard and hope
Mhm.
that one day we can do more traveling, right?
Definitely. That's my biggest motivation to work.
Awesome. Okay, well let's get into it. So earlier on we were chatting, and today I love this topic. May wants to kind of talk about some common misconceptions, the stereotypes surrounding therapy, and kind of how to get past those. So I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, yeah. I think like people do hesitate to go to therapy. Like I think not just like I heard from like personal experience myself and my husband. Like we kind of like thought about doing therapy like for a long time, but we like haven't really like looked into it. But like what are some of like your experiences like with people? What their hesitation with going to therapy?
Well, I would think sometimes it's hard for us to admit that not that we're broken, but things aren't working,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think a lot of times when people get to the point where they think or might even know they need therapy, it's acknowledging that in their minds that they have failed. I have failed. I don't live up to. I'm not good enough, and nobody wants that, right? That's a hard thing. But I also really believe that that's more of a societal thing. That I mean, and I don't think social media helps, right? Everybody posts their beautiful, perfect life, and that's what we want people to believe. But in reality, I have never met anybody, single or married, who doesn't have some kind of challenge going on in their lives. That therapy would actually really, really help. We all have. I would dare to say that I think we all have some kind of trauma in our lives, and at some point, um, therapy would be a good place to visit. I know that, like for us, um, I was telling you earlier, second marriage. So my wife and I have been together for 24 years. There are times that we go to therapy not because anything is horribly wrong, but we also have identified that things aren't incredibly wonderful either. And if we can't figure out how to get back to that place, to us, it's like, hey, this is a time maybe we just revisit therapy and let's see what we can do to become stronger and heal and become better. And I think if people would approach therapy in that regard of, hey, this is just something that makes us better and we don't have all the answers, then I think therapy would be a more less stigmatized, and I think society would be more willing, more open to therapy.
Right.
I kind of like it, liken it unto me as a real estate professional. Most people don't understand the intricacies and all that goes into listing a home, right? So what do? They look for a great real estate agent, and because they know that they need the help because they can't do it themselves, nor do they want to. And I think therapy, anything, but especially in this conversation, I think therapy is the same thing. Mm-hmm. Therapists like me have the tools, the knowledge, and the experience. They can help us heal and become better and stronger. And who doesn't want a better quality of life, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So no, you made me talk too much. It's your turn.
Yeah. So like I heard of a saying is it's like people are not willing to make the change until the pain they experience is greater than the change of pain. So it's painful to make changes and it's hard. And I think it says a lot about like people who does go to therapy, like they are putting their mental health in priority and they are just so willing to work on themselves and trying to be better. And yeah, if you know having a different perspective like from a therapist like who can be objective and be there to listen to you and um, with no agenda, no judgment, I think that's very healing, like already having someone creating that space for you.
You have to be open to therapy. But the one thing that I love about it is as you mentioned, therapists are unbiased and incredibly honest. And I think that's one of the things that gets in our way is sometimes we don't want to be completely honest with ourselves. Mm-hmm. You go and talk to a therapist, and that's what they're there for, is that they're there to be honest with you and say, have you considered? And then they just tell you the truth about yourself. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, but that's why we go.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely part of our training, like, to become a therapist, like it's important to be non-biased. Like it's still hard because we are all human still, but and like I guess like each therapist like have different style and then it kind of based on their life experiences too. But it's really what we are there for, to provide that safe space for you to talk about things that bothers you.
What would you suggest to somebody watching that sees this? They're considering therapy, they've thought about it, but they just have that apprehension of I'm scared or I'm nervous or I don't know what to expect. What would you recommend to them? How do they make that next step?
Yeah, I think talking to someone who's been to a therapist can be very helpful. Like having a friend like who's not trying to sell you something like or advertising for something, like having that like I guess unbiased opinion about therapy in general, and have like talk to someone you trust, and I think that's somewhere to start with. And I think there is a process to find the right therapist, and I guess a lot of time money is also a concern for people.
Oh,
yeah. So a lot of people start with like their insurance, like looking for a therapist that's in their network. There's a website called Psychology Today. You can find like all the therapists that's in the area, and you can filter it through like languages like specialties, anything that you're looking for, and then you'll give you like a list of therapists and what they are specializing and where they are located, how much they charge, and all that. So you can.
Well, that's really helpful.
Yeah, all the information are pretty open.
I'll have to get that link from you, and maybe we can include in the podcast too, so people can maybe go look at it. Okay, so I have a question for you.
Okay.
In my line of work, I always encourage people as they're interviewing, looking for the right fit, To me, that's also really important, is finding a
Oh yeah.
therapist that you have a good connection with. How do people do that with you? Is there like a consultation?
Oh yeah.
I mean, how
Right.
does that work?
Yeah. So in Vibrant Life Therapy, that we do a free consultation. It's usually like 15 to 20 minutes, kind of just like you say, it's like an interview. So you get to interview the therapist and to see if you like the vibe, or if they are um, kind of like having that connection there. So I think most therapists at all like do that. So it's definitely something good to ask about when you try to set up an appointment.
Yeah, super important, because it's kind of hard to open up and be like completely honest when you don't have that connection and feel safe. I
Yeah.
think is a good word to use with your therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. That's certainly true, but at the same time, I'm always amazed, like, when I'm meeting with clients for the first time, like how quickly they can, feel safe with me and then start sharing, maybe something that they never shared with anyone before. And I'm
yeah,
really amazed that like people do have that capacity. And I think, you know, having a therapist like being a kind of a third person that's completely outside of your social network,
yeah.
like that's really a lot of time that's what makes people comfortable. Yeah. And
Yes,
at the same time, like we are bound by the law to keep confidentiality. And I think looking for someone who's licensed, um, like it's very important, because we are governed by whether it's like those licensing social work association, or another like therapist profession. Like we do have that to pretty much keep us in line.
yeah. I really like the fact that you brought that up, because again, it's having a therapist that most people don't open up completely to their family, their friends, their best friends, their siblings, right? Because again, we have that. We don't want people to know everything,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we're embarrassed or ashamed of the thoughts, the feelings, the addictions, the struggles that we have, and it really is a nice place just to be able to open up and just say whatever, and there's no judgment. It's just like, all right, thank you for sharing. That's great. Now we have a point where we can start from, and now I know how to help you, or at
Yeah.
least start helping you. So again, I love the topic. I am not ashamed to say that I've been to therapy. I continue to go to therapy. I just think it's a great thing. Um, Something that more people should do more of. So, for folks that might be piqued and interested in having a conversation with you, how do they find you? How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah. So if you search Vibrant Life Therapy, that will take you straight to our website. You can set up appointments like through a phone call, or I think there's like a message box that you can fill out your information to. And you can also find me on Psychology Today.
All right. May, thank you so much for coming by. I love this topic. I'm super excited about the other ones, Brendan, that you've shared with me. And yeah, we appreciate you watching, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much.